Welcome to your SDH Morning Update for your Friday. Hopefully everyone has enjoyed their week so far. We'll go over the juice boxes and all the news that's set to print. Gossip, rumor, and innuendo coming up in just a little bit. Reminder, we'll be back at it on Monday morning, and we will go over the round of 8 and get you set for the Final Four in the determination of the world's best team when it comes to the sport of soccer. Don't forget also on the network posted early on Friday morning, it is episode 51 of the Soccer for US pod, where Bart and the guys take a peek at the loss by the U.S. men's national team and where to go from here. So you can catch that on the network as well. A couple of things to get you caught up on this morning. Obviously, the big news, Luis Enrique stepping down from being in charge of the Spain national team after what happened and they were bounced from the tournament. Also going over to Portugal, a couple of pieces of news, and one of them is the notion that our national nightmare involving Cristiano Ronaldo, old CR37 himself, came to a bit of a head. First and foremost, here's the update and the bolo from Haley McQueen, courtesy of our friends at Sky News.
Some news from Portugal, who've released a statement denying that Cristiano Ronaldo threatened to leave Qatar in an exchange with the head coach Fernando Santos. Now, the FPF clarifies that at no time did the captain of the national team, Cristiano Ronaldo, threaten to leave the team in Qatar. Cristiano Ronaldo built up a unique track record every day at the service of the national team and the country, which must be respected and which attests to the unquestionable degree of commitment to the national team. Incidentally, the degree of dedication of the player, most capped by Portugal, was again demonstrated, if necessary, in the victory against Switzerland in the round of 16 of the 2022 World Cup. The national team, players, coaches and FPF structure is, as it has been since the first day, fully committed and enthusiastic in building what the country wants to be Portugal's best ever participation in a World Cup. So just to reiterate, this a statement released by Portugal, the Federation of Portuguese Football, clarifying that at no time did Cristiano Ronaldo threaten to leave his side and, exit Qatar.
So the answer is a defiant no, that there has been no division whatsoever. Cristiano Ronaldo tweeting that he wanted to leave the camp. So here's your update on that from the camp in and of itself, from once again courtesy of our friends at Sky Sports Football.
Yeah, well, as you'd expect, it dominated the news conference, the timing of it just before the news conference started, and then Otavio, the Porto midfielder, came out to face the media. Very first question was about the tweet, and he wholeheartedly agreed with what Cristiano Ronaldo said. He said the outside distractions, they will not disturb us. We are united as a team. And that was really the theme of the press conference. All the questions were about Ronaldo, but he said he's on board with us. He's part of the team. He's fine. And as a team, we are fine. So they are trying to put on a united front, even though it is clearly very difficult when he's centre stage as ever and dominating all the headlines going into what is a huge game for Portugal on Saturday against Morocco. It's interesting, it's only just over 3 hours ago that he made the post on social media, and it's been liked by almost 4.5 million people on Instagram already. So that just highlights just what it means to have Cristiano Ronaldo as part of your team and why, as ever, he dominates the news agenda. I guess the next big question is, will he start against Morocco? He was left out of the starting 11 for the game against Switzerland. His replacement scored a hat-trick, and it's a big decision for the coach, Fernando Santos, to make now. Does he include him in his starting 11 for this quarter-final?
Then the other piece of news, remember yesterday we had Kyle Walker discussing the task of possibly having to go one-on-one against Kylian Mbappe. And so now Melissa Reddy over at Sky Sports says the France squad appear to be annoyed at the suggestion Kyle Walker will be able to stop Kylian Mbappe when England plays France on the last match of the weekend, Saturday afternoon at 2.
Melissa, the question everyone wants to know, have you seen Mbappe today?
I have. He did make us wait longer than usual. The rest of the team was out and he was one of the last to emerge from the tunnel, but he is on the grass behind me doing the warm-ups. Like we know, he was part of that closed training session yesterday, having done a recovery workout the day previously, which put everyone on high alert over his availability. He had an ankle injury that he picked up with PSG, and the club were managing that, and the national team are now managing that very carefully. But we've seen it's not impacted him at all in this World Cup, in which he is the top scorer and making more history at 23 years of age. Now, Mbappe is the central focus, whether he is training or not training. He is France's major weapon. And it's been quite interesting being a part of the French pack and speaking to them and looking at what questions they put to their players, because it seems they've been really annoyed by the suggestion that Kyle Walker can stop Mbappe or knows how to stop Mbappe. And Youssouf Fofana was actually asked today, what do you make of this theory that Walker knows the secret to thwarting Mbappe? And he said, well, it's a credit to Walker if he knows how to do it, because there's 19 teams in France's top division that are looking for that exact same solution, and they haven't been able to find it. The proof will be on the pitch, and we back Kylian. I think it's been lost in translation somewhat, because Walker was saying that, it shouldn't be all about Mbappe. France has other great players. He won't let Mbappe stand in his way of winning a World Cup for his country, but he didn't say he knows the secret to keeping him quiet. I think what has actually happened is the fact that, Gary Neville and Matty Cash have said that they think Walker is best placed to deal with him. That's a line that's really stuck with the French media and the players in general.
So that's the quick tour of the news that has been going on. Get you into gossip, rumor, and innuendo, whether it's on this side of the Atlantic or the other side of the Atlantic. So what we'll do is we'll catch you up on what's been going on gossip-wise, all the news that's fit to print, and get you ready for the weekend as well. Once again, Friday, 2 matches. Saturday, 2 matches. Get you ready for the Final Four. Real Madrid interested in Manchester United winger Alejandro Garnacho. The 18-year-old Argentine scored his first Premier League goal against Fulham last month. That is from our friends at Ravello. United also working on a deal to sign Borussia Mönchengladbach and Swiss goalkeeper Jan Sommer on a free next summer. Real Madrid have agreed to a 6-year deal, around £62 million, to sign Brazilian teenager Endrick from Palmeiras, but once again, he can't join until July of 2024 when he turns 18. That's from our friend Fabrizio Romano. Gazzetta dello Sport. AC Milan ready to bid for Chelsea forward Hakim Ziyech, who has impressed at the World Cup with Morocco. They'll give Portugal forward Rafael Leao an ultimatum in January: sign a new contract or leave. PSG President Nasser Al-Khelaifi says Manchester United and England forward Marcus Rashford could be a summer target for the club. 3 goals at the World Cup. Rashford says nothing beats scoring for his country, courtesy of our friends at the Mirror. Al-Khelaifi in his wide-ranging interview also said he was confident Lionel Messi would extend his stay in Paris when they discuss his future in January. Arsenal looking at their options after Brazil striker Gabriel Jesus suffered a knee injury at the World Cup in Qatar, according to manager Mikel Arteta. And Leicester and England midfielder James Maddison is Newcastle's top transfer target in January, courtesy of our friends at 90 Minutes. That's your gossip, rumor, and innuendo from around Europe in and of itself. Checking the papers, getting into all of the news. Once again, avoiding the 3 and the 4 letter paper overseas. Ben White returned home from England's World Cup camp following an alleged bust-up with assistant boss Steve Holland. The Arsenal defender also became unhappy in the England camp, struggled to mix with his fellow teammates. Once again, skipping the 4-letter paper involving any kind of news with Jude Bellingham. Anytime that we do reference anything in gossip, rumor, and innuendo as a part of all the news that's fit to print, we always tell you to take the information from the 3 and the 4-letter paper at your own risk. Daily Telegraph and mentioned the PSG interview that Sky had with Nasser Al-Khelaifi, and they want to step in to sign Marcus Rashford after his World Cup scoring form. Also looking at The friends at The Athletic, Manchester United's club doctor Steve McNally leaving his role after 16 years around. Daily Mirror, England wives and girlfriends have been lending their support to Raheem Sterling's family as he flies back to Qatar. Daily Record, Celtic could be set to add to their midfield ranks with Ferencváros midfielder Issa Laidouni, the latest star, to be linked with a move to the Scottish Premiership. Barry Ferguson has accused Rangers recruitment chiefs of botching a bargain basement deal for his own nephew and pricing themselves out of signing him in the future. And the Scottish Sun reports that liquidators of the Rangers' old operating company have finally settled their dispute with the tax authorities after agreeing to a £56 million deal with the HMRC. And we always know that the HMRC is one of those groups that is traditionally undefeated. They are traditionally undefeated. You cannot get anything past them. They are very, very good at their job. Chelsea was made to wait for Champions League qualification on the women's side after drawing 1-1 with Real Madrid. Once again, circling back to Mikel Arteta on the Gabriel Jesus return, he said, when we know the time scale, we'll look at options, so we'll keep an eye on that. Also, Arsenal, Newcastle, and Leeds won friendlies. Leeds won on a Matthias Klich goal from long range to seal a 2-1 win over Elche in a friendly that earned them the Festa de Elx trophy. Also, looking at everything else going on in the quarterfinal lineup on Saturday, everybody is looking at predictions and everything. The rise of Cody Gakpo is something that we have to keep an eye on as well, because his price tag continues to go up and up and up and up with the form that he has been having in the tournament. Let's look at your juice boxes for the matchups on your Friday. And looking at the final 8, once again, looking at the matchups at 10 and at 2, you look at the club friendlies and everything going on there. So let's quickly get into World Cup activity here and get you your numbers. 10 o'clock Eastern Time, Croatia and Brazil. Brazil has increased to a minus 263. Your 90-minute draws just north of plus 400. Croatia is just under plus 800. Argentina is a plus 118. To defeat the Netherlands, the 90-minute draws a plus 216, and the Netherlands are at plus 281. Right now, when it comes to your activity on Saturday at 10 o'clock, Morocco and Portugal. Portugal's a minus 145. Your draw is a plus 271, and Morocco is a plus 472 in the composite. England and France. France is a plus 150. They are favored. Your 90-minute draw is a plus 227, and England is a plus 202. Looking at all the other news that is going on, checking with our friends in the American sphere when it comes to everything going on. Stephen Goff article at the Washington Post. DC United sources confirmed to Stephen Goff that the MLS club is pursuing Gael Clichy Matthias Klich for the midfield attacking slot that Wayne Rooney has sought to fill this offseason. And also, just for those of you that can appreciate Old Stadium, the final seats have been removed from RFK's lower bowl as the demolition continues there at RFK. So we'll see if we can figure out where those seats are going. Charlotte FC's Chris Hegart, the 20-year-old midfielder from Georgetown, started a trial with Mallorca this week, according to Goff as well. And the referees for the World Cup on Friday, Antonio Maciu from Spain for Argentina and Netherlands, and Brazil and Croatia. Michael Oliver from England is going to be the center ref for that particular match. DC United has also bolstered their defense. The signing of Iraq left back Mohamed Jeze, and that's from Thomas Floyd, from Swedish club Hammarby over at the Washington Post. So you can read up more on the Iraqi left back that is going to hopefully help out. If you're a DC United fan, hopefully help them out next season. So you have that going on with DC United as well. Other news, catching up with our friend Ben Jacobs, who is over at CBS Sports. John Texter calls a report from Canal Plus that his Lyon takeover has fallen through fake news But after the so-called final December 7 deadline to complete the acquisition that was missed, Lyon is no longer offering timescales. They do say that there is a sufficient probability that a sale will occur. Lyon is one club Chelsea looked at for their multi-club model. If John Textor fails, then it'll be interesting, according to Jacobs, to see whether Todd Boehly will move in and try to pick up the pieces there and add them to his portfolio. According to Jacobs, also Liverpool are front runners for Jude Bellingham, largely because they put in a lot of legwork. Signing a top talent isn't just about the fee, according to Jacobs, but the courting process. They've always been excellent at pitching to players. The Real's confidence in Bellingham comes from the fact they don't believe he'll sign, and they can thus bid lower. An extension doesn't appear the most likely scenario, but even with one of the volume suitors would still suggest Real must pay more or give up. Nothing will happen in January with Bellingham intent on seeing out the season, but in order to sign him next summer, suitors realize they need to move fast now to the level of competition. And also, you're looking at Twitter and seeing that Thomas Tuchel was trending on the Twitter machine, and you wonder why. And right now, a lot of folks just kind of staring at what's happening or what's not happening with Chelsea and wondering, with what they're missing with Thomas Tuchel. So you have a lot of fans of Chelsea who are kind of looking wistfully back at the time of Thomas Tuchel and wondering if, hey, Thomas, can you come back? Maybe not so fast. So that's your quick look at all of the news that's going on in and around the world of soccer. And we will be back once again on Monday normal at 9:05 on Twitch, twitch.tv/soccerdownhere. Once again, don't forget to keep an ear out for the Soccer for US pod with Bart and the gang as they break down the USMNT, their future after their loss in the knockout. So that is your Friday. Enjoy your Friday. Be safe, everyone. Stay dry if you are here in the southeastern part of the footprint. So play it safe, everybody. Mucha plata, y'all. For Jason, for Jarrett, for Nick, I'm just John. We will catch up with you this weekend.